Well, good evening everyone and welcome to the briefing for Operation Red Duck. It's like Black Buck, but it's not quite as far. And the main star of the show will of course be the Vulcan if it reaches the target area. This is the Malagasy Strike Command's first major mission for a long time. And this briefing is secretish. So what is happening? Well, as we know, it's a time of massive global tension, and it really wasn't a good idea for Malagasy to decide to provoke everyone. The target is the Malagasy Tu-22 airfield and the Malagasy anti-ship missile stores. So what is happening? Well, the aim of this operation is to keep open the southern shipping route around the Cape of Africa. Is to deter and disable future threats to world shipping. Legally, well, it's awaiting a UN Security Council resolution, although they probably won't agree. And it's an action short of war, so it's a continuation of politics by other means. And what has happened and has caused this is, of course, the global tensions around the world. So what do we have? Well, up here, in the Arabian Sea, we have the Houthis attacking shipping, which is forcing the global trade of shipping south around Africa. Now, unfortunately, the naughty Malmatians, and I'm sorry if you're Tanzanian, it's now Malagasy, they have launched a Tu-22 strike against this shipping and they've hit a tanker. Now, the Madagascans have already deployed one of their carrier groups to support these ships and to protect them. The other one, they only have two, is of course in its home port in Madagascar. NATO allied Oilam are getting really angry and impatient and want to go to war with Malagasy. However, of course, that will bring two blocks into conflict because Malagasy is supported by the post-Soviet successor states and Oilam is, of course, NATO aligned. So this is an action to take out the Tu-22 bases and to stop any further threats to global shipping. So this is the time for non-aligned Madagascar, the Malagasy Armed Forces, to act to save the world. And of course this map isn't to scale, but it gives you an idea of what's going on. So the situation, and if we look at the target, so here we have the geography, and of course, I'm sorry if you're Tanzanian, it's now Malagasy, and I'm sorry if you're in Mozambique, it's now Oilam. But that red dot marks the airbase where the Tu-22s have been launched from. The Malmatians have these Tu-22 M2s carrying AS-6 anti-ship missiles. They store them at the Dar el Malagasy Air Force Base, which is in the edge of Dar el Salam, just slightly off, about 20 miles, and they've got Tu-22s and the storage for the weapons there. It's a well protected site. It's protected by S-300 SAM systems and it's protected by Su-35s. Now the target is these Tu-22 aircraft, the storage facilities for the AS-6 missiles, and the S-300 sites, which will need to be taken down if these bombers can be hit. Now, Malagasy is repairing loads of these old bombers, which they've had in store, and they're getting ready a new batch of AS-6 missiles. And therefore, it's really important that the Malagasy Armed Forces strike this site to deter future acts of aggression. Now let's look at the friendly forces. So this operation will fall primarily to Malagasy Strike Command. They will have support from the Malagasy Fleet Air Arm and Malagasy Fighter Command, and they'll also have support from the Malagasy Intelligence Command. The aim is that it's going to be a limited intervention. The pool of aircraft that they can draw on are some of the newly refurbished Vulcans, of which 8 out of 36 are available. They can pull on 12 of the 18 B-58 AM Hustlers, and they have support from 12 KC-135 tankers. They also have support from FC-31s, of which 24 are available, Su-34s, Su-57s, which only 2 out of 8 are currently available. They have support from jamming assets and airborne air control assets, and most importantly, the operation will be the first use of the Super Angry Butterfly drone. So this is a real test for the new Malagasy Strike Command model. So if we have a quick look at the models, I've got 4 of these FC-31s, I've got 2 on display here. These are the Chinese export low observable fighters. They've been with the Malagasy Armed Forces now for a number of years, and they're fully operational. What the Malagasy Armed Forces like about this aircraft is it's got a nice internal bomb bay, so it can carry weapons inside. And here it's got some PL-15 long-range air-to-air missiles, some PL-10 short-range air-to-air missiles on the wings, and a long-range guided guide bomb inside the bomb bay. So it's quite a versatile aircraft. The Su-34 fleet was brought in to replace the Hustlers, but it doesn't quite have the legs of some of the old big bombers and the speed. Still, it's a useful SEAD suppression of enemy air defence platform. And here we have it armed with a long-range guided bomb on the centreline and Israeli Popeye suppression of enemy air defence cruise missiles on the wings, along with some air-to-air missiles. Equipped with extended range fuel tanks, this will be vital to maintaining pressure throughout the raid. Of course, the highlight is the Vulcan, and here it is, newly restored and repainted, ready to serve. Now the aim of this mission is to get the Vulcans to the target area, and they'll be supported by the B-58 AM Hustlers. And if we look at the Hustlers, they've been configured especially for this mission. So we've got this one here with J-cells underneath, and we've got this one here, which has got 2 air-launched Tomahawks, a Popeye cruise missile and the Popeye guidance pod. And last but not least, providing suppression of enemy air defence will be the Su-57 fighters, of which they're using the KH-31 anti-radiation missile and a PL-21 long-range air-to-air missile, in addition to the weapons inside. So it's a real mixed match of non-aligned forces, and these are some of the weapons which will be used and delivered. So the Super Angry Butterfly is a 1,000 to 1,500 mile drone which can operate autonomously and fly to the target area. It's equipped with different seeker heads for attacking different targets. 60 of these available, and they'll be used. We've got the Delilah anti-air defence cruise missile from Israel, guided glide Fab 500 bombs, J-cells, AGM-158 JSAMs, AGM-109 Tomahawk air-launched cruise missiles. I know they never entered service, but they did with Madagascar. GBU-31 JDAMs, Popeye long-range cruise missile from Israel. And last but not least, we've got decoys, airborne launched decoys to decoy the Marmation air defence is. Now the main issue that they're going to face is the air defences. Cracking the S300 is not going to be an easy nut to crack. So let's have a look at the options for the raid. So here we are again, not to scale. Down here we have Madagascar. We have some islands which Madagascar controls. We have Oilam NATO aligned and a disputed border region. Marmation is well protected by S300 SAM sites, which also come with Pantsir and Tor air defence systems, designed to take on cruise missiles and to make the S300s harder to attack. The grey area here represents the area of Marmation radar coverage. The defences are stronger to the south of Marmation and weaker to the north. Around the capital there's another S300 site, and the airfield which is the target is protected by its own S300. In addition, there's a radar pickage ship which operates in this area, although electronic intelligence has determined that it's not always active. And of course, above Madagascar we have the Seychelles Islands, which represent islands into the Indian Ocean. So, where is the point of weakness? Well, electronic intelligence from the G550 aircraft has determined that the Marmation systems are weakest in the north. Now, this presents a problem because it's a long way away from Madagascar, and we're talking of around 800 miles to this point here, and around 500 miles back to this point here. So these are quite long ranges. But that is the point of weakness. So how is the Malagasy Strike Command going to attack? Well, this is the chosen option. The chosen option is three-pronged attack. Now, if there's an overflight of Oilen and attacks on Marmatia, it may well trigger a war between Marmatia and Oilen. So, the Super Angry Butterfly drones will launch from the north of Madagascar 2 attacks of 30 each in each wave. The first set will take on this S-300 site here, while the second will go further and attack the S-300 site around the airfield. At the same time, FC-31 low observable fighters will launch guided glide bombs against this S-300 site and guided glide bombs against this S-300 site. They'll be using their low observability to get close, coupled with effective jamming and countermeasures. There'll be a combat air patrol protecting them, which will be run by the J-10s. There'll be a refuelling point here, which will be set up to refuel both the FC-31s and their egress, and also to support the Vulcan and Hustler fleet. The Vulcan and Hustler fleet will be going forwards with the purple track. Purple track being the longest route out past the Seychelles, all the way out towards the Indian Ocean. So the Marmatians won't suspect this attack coming. They'll be expecting attack from here, and it's likely that most of the Super Angry Butterflies will be shot down before reaching their targets. And that's not a problem because it's going to attrit the Marmation air defences. These are effectively throwaway drones. Into the mix will go decoys, air-launched from the FC-31s. The decoys will fool the Marmation defences into thinking they're being attacked by cruise missiles from the south. The real attack, after refuelling at refuelling point 2, will be done by the Hustlers, the Vulcans and the Su-34s. The Su-34s will be flying suppression of enemy air defence escort and allowing the Vulcans and the Hustlers to get in and launch their cruise missiles and their guided bombs onto the airfield, destroying it. There'll be a combat air patrol here at extended range of the J-10, which again will have a refuelling track. Jamming will be provided by the G550s and CASA C295 AWC. They'll be using the Seychelles for masking. So apologies if you're in the Seychelles, you might not be able to watch telly. The whole lot will then track back to Madagascar along these tracks. Of course, it's unlikely that any Super Angry Butterflies will have survived, but the aim is for the FC-31, the Vulcans and the Hustler fleet to survive. The combat air patrols will prevent Marmation Su-35s interfering. And the idea is that the Marmatians will be so committed with the attack coming from the south that their resources will go here and they will fail to prepare for the attack from the north. That's the theory anyway. The unknown is the radar picket. The radar picket doesn't always go active, keeps its radar off most of the time, and the Madagascar Armed Forces have a special weapon to deal with that, and that's the Delilah cruise missile. The Delilah is a very small weapon. It goes into the area where the enemy air defence threat is, and when they activate the radar, it will pounce on them. So that will be fired and will loiter in the area of the picket. And as soon as that picket goes live, or if it tries to join the fight, the Delilah will take it down. In addition, if the picket is live on the way up, the Vulcans will fire an AGM-158 JSAM straight at the picket, which will be able to remove that threat. Now the whole thing relies on careful timing. And now we'll go on to the rest of the mission planning, which will be in more detail, and I'll do some more videos on each component as it's built up. But I hope that gives you an idea of what the plan is. Let me know if there's any comments or thoughts and whether you think this plan will work. Take care. Goodbye. Weapon.